Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thank you so much for tuning in here on Saturday, October 14th. We are one day away from the Jaguars taking on the Colts in Jacksonville, Everbank Stadium. The Jaguars, they beat the Colts in week 1, 31-21 in Indianapolis, snapping a road losing streak to the Colts. The Jags are now looking to sweep the Colts for the first time in the Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence era. Today, we have got some bold predictions for this one. Happy to get into it. First, if you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. All right, y'all, let's get into these bold predictions. I'm predicting that Calvin Ridley, it is his most heavily targeted game of the regular season for the Jaguars so far. His most targeted game was week 1 against the Colts, 11 targets in that one. Most of those were in the first half. I suspect the Jaguars want to get the ball to Calvin Ridley early and often in this game. The Colts, they are without any sort of veteran presence in the cornerback room on the outside. They're going to be starting two rookies, two very inexperienced rookies against Calvin Ridley. Two guys that I do think have bright futures in this league potentially, but it is not going to start tomorrow for these guys. It's going to be a rough one. I think Calvin Ridley is going to have his way with the Colts secondary. I think the Jaguars will find some interesting ways to get him the ball quickly, to get him going in this game, and to get him comfortable, acclimated. I think it's his most heavily targeted game of the year and of the regular season, I should say. If they make the playoffs, I think there could be a game or two where they go Calvin Ridley heavy. But again, most heavily targeted game of the regular season, and he gets 100 yards and a score. He was able to get over 100 yards last week against the Bills. I think he's able to do that again this week against a weakened Colts secondary, a secondary, again, that is starting two rookies on the outside, going to be trying to cover Calvin Ridley. I think he's going to have a big one. I think Trevor Lawrence, his quarterback, is also going to have a really big one in this game. Trevor Lawrence has been money against the Colts throughout his career. He's got 7 touchdowns. There's just 1 interception. I think the interception was a tipped pass. He's been completing over 70% of his passes. And if you take away the first year, the last 3 games have been tremendous for Trevor Lawrence against the Colts. I think he's going to complete over 80% of his passes. I think he's going to have 2 touchdowns, which will be his first 2-touchdown passing day of the 2023 campaign. He has been so accurate, so good, playing defenses that aren't the Colts. Then you get to play this defense that you've kind of dominated throughout your young career. It's been the defense that he's had the most success against consistently throughout this young career of Trevor Lawrence's. I think he's going up, again, against a youthful secondary that is going to allow him to complete passes in this zone defense, a lot of cover 3, right? They're going to run a ton of zone. Trevor Lawrence has gotten really good at beating zone defenses. I think that it's going to be a good day for Trevor Lawrence, a really damn good day. Now, looking at the defensive side of the ball for the Jaguars, Braden Smith, he is out for the Indianapolis Colts. They're starting right tackle. That means you're going to have Blake Freeland at right tackle, most likely, with Will Fries at right guard. I do not think that is a very good combination on the right side. I think the Jaguars are able to collapse the right side of the offensive line. I think Mike Caldwell is going to scheme some things up. I think Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen each get a sack in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if Smoot's able to get out there and get a sack either. He is going to play for them. But my prediction here, Walker and Allen both get a sack in this one. I think they have a day that you get excited about the future of the Jaguars pass rush a little bit here. And, Smoot, Allen, Walker, I think that's a good trio. I think that they could make that top 3 even better, perhaps via trade. We'll see how that goes out. Would love to see them land Danielle Hunter. I'm not expecting it to happen, but the word's out. The Jaguars have been heavily interested in him since the offseason. We'll see if they make a play, but that probably won't happen until a little bit later in October. But excited to get Smoot back out there. Got Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker with sacks in this game. Tyson Campbell, interception in this game, right? He's played with Gardner Minshew, knows some of the tendencies. He's coming off a game in which he allowed 2 touchdown passes in single coverage. It wasn't an awful game by any stretch. Like, you see 2 touchdowns, you're like, geez, that's bad, right? But I think that Stephon Diggs got him. at the line of scrimmage on one where he tried to jam him up and Diggs just avoided the contact. And then the other one was a contested catch in the end zone by Gabe Davis. So I don't think that Tyson had a horrible game or anything like that, but I think he's going to bounce back strong. I think he's going to get an interception. I think he's going to shut it down and have a banner day, and again show you why he's one of the top young corners in this league. But looking at the Colts, I have a few predictions for them as well. I have Josh Downs leading the Colts in receiving yards from the slot. I think that Michael Pittman's going to be lined up a lot against Tyson Campbell. I think Alec Pierce has struggled a little bit this year. Josh Downs is a rookie receiver I loved coming out of North Carolina. Love his game. He's smaller, he's diminutive, but he's quick, he's fast, he's a great route runner, and he's got excellent ball skills. He can absolutely go up and get it. He's got some explosiveness. So I think Josh Downs is going to lead them in yards from the slot. I think the Jaguars, while their secondary hasn't been super susceptible at all this year, I think that Josh Downs against Trey Herndon in the slot, I think that he's going to get some matchups that he likes and that he's going to lead them in receiving yards. I don't think it's going to be some massive day, 100 plus yards. I'm not expecting that, but I do think that he's going to be their target leader and receiving leader in week 6 against the Jaguars here. So Josh Downs leading the Colts in receiving yards. I've got Minshew completing 70% of his passes in his return to Duval and scoring a touchdown. Now, I don't think that's going to be like a mind-blowing 70%. I think it's going to be a lot of short stuff, a lot of stuff where they're just getting the ball out really quickly on time and trying to move the offense that way. I think he's also going to score a touchdown. Obviously, I think he's going to have an interception. I mentioned that with Tyson Campbell's prediction. I think it's going to be like a fine game for Gardner Minshew, but nothing to write home about. And nothing that's really going to keep the Colts too close in this one, and we'll talk about that in just a second. First, though, my final Colts prediction, DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart. I think they combined for a sack and a half in this game, which basically means I think that they are going to have an impact, right? They're going to be going up against Luke Fortner. They're going to be going up against Tyler Shatley, who's going to be filling in there for Walker Little at left guard. Brandon Sheriff has been playing great football at right guard the last few weeks. But I think Buckner and Stewart, they're just so good. They've had an impact the last few times these teams have gotten together. I think they will have an impact in this game, but I don't think it will be a big enough impact to prevent the Jaguars from putting points on the board, and I don't think it'll be a big enough impact to really keep the Colts close. I just think that while they can have an impact, the Jaguars have been able to mitigate a lot of the impact that pass rushes can have against them on most plays by getting the ball out quickly, by Trevor Lawrence being able to avoid pressure in the pocket. I think that the Jaguars are going to be ready for this attack, but Buckner and Stewart will still have pretty good days with a sack and a half combined. Finally, I've got the Jaguars winning this one, 27-13. They get to 4-2. They sit atop the division after 6 weeks. It's their first win in Jacksonville of the year. Look, I think the Colts have a bright future, but Anthony Richardson's not out there. They've got some real issues in their secondary right now, and they've got a banged up right side of their offensive line. Braden Smith is one of their best offensive linemen. Will Fries is their worst starting offensive lineman. I think that combines for a weak right side of the offensive line where the Jaguars are able to take some advantage there, again, with Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, and the rest of those guys. So that'll do it. 27-13 Jaguars. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. Y'all have a good one.